Bubba, you supposed to be my buddy. And you just start stuff.
Hey, it's okay, man. They had
I
that.
ain't never seen him with a notepad,
Right.
nothing.
I ain't even know Easy can write, man.
He done brought in a whole little.
Why he take it off the table now?
A whole
Don't
refillable.
nobody need to see
Y'all
it.
messing with him.
Yeah. You know, because Easy stood in line at the back to school, you know, backpack.
Oh, you took somebody's kids' supplies, huh? Is that what you did?
I'm just taking the cheap shots today. Just go ahead and finish.
I got my coffee today, man.
Shout out to Mo at Brown's Liquor.
Oh,
huh?
my God. I have never seen this man. Wow. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad. I was just.
Was you saying something?
I'm going to say something right now. Because when we pulled up this morning, Miss Trey could barely move.
Oh.
And would she have a half a pint of Jack Daniels?
Maybe
Probably a quarter of a cup.
I thought I was bad.
And I mean, she could barely
I don't
move.
know. It's the
She couldn't talk.
I yelled out the window, medic. I need a medic.
But all of a sudden, when Miss Q shows up,
No, it was when
She
you
need
pulled
that
out.
superpower.
she just gets giddy.
I didn't know you had a day planner. I just never seen you with a day planner. That's all. I'm impressed.
Is that what
Man.
this called?
I'm yeah.
Organizer.
I didn't even know.
That's terrible.
Go ahead, whip it out on him, man.
Look.
Nice.
Look, usually, you know, around this time,
Shout out to CDS.
when people question stuff like that, we usually call them lunchbox, you know. But it's okay. There won't be no lunchboxing today. How about that? No lunch.
I'm sorry.
So easy smooth, back to the smooth hour.
I'm sorry.
Broadcasting live every day. Not every day. Man, I'm gonna put that on me. Every Friday.
Every day.
We ain't on that.
All day.
Hey, all day.
By myself.
In these streets.
That's right. Hey, easy, you know, gives me the old wakey call today, right?
Right, a text message.
So I sent him one back. Is it Monday?
They sure did.
Damn. Yeah, shoot, man. But yeah, broadcasting live every Friday and Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 here at the shops at Iverson. Broadcasting are powered by NOG Radio on NOGradio.com.
Yes, indeed.
Man, let us all get together. We might have to hold hands and pray or something today. I don't know.
You should have done that 2 hours ago.
You know, don't let Deacon Bubba come out, you know.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And, you know, I've ministered for 6 years, so, you know, yeah. It'll come out.
So
Do you
easy.
have questions today, Easy?
So easy. What do you have in your planner? What's in your planner?
What's in the plan today?
Paper.
He's not telling you a word he writing down.
Now he
I think he broke his crayon, y'all. I think he brook his crayon.
I got pre-prepared questions.
I got paper.
He can't. He got those thick crayons. But go ahead.
I got a Sharpie so I can see.
Oh, you got a sharp.
So what are you touching base on today, just so those out there know?
You know, when I saw the hashtag domestic violence awareness, I was like, that's so broad. You know, so I kind of wanted to talk about the different, I know we touched on it last time, how there's different types of it, but we didn't really go into detail about it. So I wanted to talk about different types of it and like red flags to look out for.
Okay.
Specific.
Okay.
So you seen that video going around? I'm guessing too, where it's like it's an older lady or something. She's like, I can't remember exactly what she says, but paraphrasing, she's like, you know, don't say that you didn't see the signs or you didn't know.
I haven't seen that video.
Okay.
Can you give me a little bit of background?
Yeah, so it's just it's a lady. She's an older black lady, and the video, of course, is one of those that's going around because it's like, you know, already in a million views. Yeah. And she's saying, you know, you can't say that you didn't see the signs. You can't say that you had no clue this person could be, would be, will be abusive. You've seen the signs, you just ignored the signs.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's been all over the groups, all over, you know.
What kind of, have you seen any of the commentary? I mean, I'm kind of
I didn't really look at the comments.
Okay.
You know,
I've
seen a little bit of it.
You
I was
gotta tag
like,
me in that.
yeah, I will.
Okay. So what do I think about that?
Yeah.
That's a great question because that's really one of the first questions that people ask. Like, you didn't know before, you didn't have any clue.
Right.
I actually agree with the fact that you see red flags. We tend to ignore things from within for different reasons. Actually, you may think that this is, nobody's perfect. Everybody has flaws. We tend to give ourselves a narrative to be able to deal with it. You might think you can change the person, right? You may think that they're just going through something. A lot of them play victim anyway, so you kind of like...
I just gotta love them hard.
But I don't agree with the fact that that seeing red flags will, I guess, lead you to believe that a person will be abusive. Because that's a whole different thing. Sometimes people have toxic residue. Sometimes people have, bad moments in their lives. They go through depression. They're not able to see what they're doing to other people sometimes. It doesn't mean that they don't have the ability to be accountable or to change. So I don't think that every red flag means that this person will be abusive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Are the signs always the same though?
The signs are not.
No.
They're never the same,
Yeah.
actually. Because everybody's different.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because you got people that are controlling, you got people that are manipulative, you got people that are physically, abusive,
Go aggressive.
verbally abusive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different signs out there. I mean, there's guys that are the nicest guys in the world. They ain't gonna never hurt a fly, but they'll cuss you out in a minute. You know what I mean?
Some people do things based off principle. So you can see that and think they have the same behavior as an abusive person. Just depends on the context, right?
Right.
So where do they draw the line? How do they know that this person has crossed the line into an abusive territory, right? How do you know what to look for? That's exactly what we need to talk about.
Yeah.
So I think that one thing that sets some behavior apart is if it's habitual, right?
Okay.
Does this person continue to repeat this behavior even after it's addressed and you let them know that, this hurts me or this is how I was affected by it? Do they continue to do it? Are they accountable? Are they able to look at themselves and reflect on what they did and process that? Because that's a big red flag right there. If you don't have a mirror, right? Then you can't change. You can't accept that this is what I did and why this was wrong, even if you don't feel like it was wrong. If you are a genuine person and you feel like you want to improve yourself, daily growth, then you're able to look at yourself and say, okay, well, how did this interaction affect this person? That wasn't my intention, but what do I need to do next time to show my true intention, right? If you can't do that, then there's a problem. So those are the subtle things that people miss when they're dealing with somebody interpersonally.
So that that helps because it goes back to remembering habitual, because you do have someone or some people, right, where they get completely out of character on your way. And then they say, damn, I'm so sorry.
Now describe completely out of character.
Like, snatch your arm up and carry, pull you on, or maybe snatch you up by the neck, even, the back of the neck and pull you on.
Right.
Or, I'm just thinking of things like that, or, call you out your name, or...
Now let me ask you this. If somebody did that to you, even as a man, would you think that was their first time doing it?
I don't know. I don't know.
What do you have to be going through to get to a point where you just grabbing somebody or calling somebody that you tell you love daily, right, out of their name?
So to clarify then, if they're doing that, or if they're calling you, you're all of a sudden you're a whore or something, it doesn't matter if it's not habitual. That's not okay.
If that's their defense mechanism, that's a red flag.
Okay.
Because you have a lot of gray area to get to before you get to that point of aggression. Okay, so they've already passed all of that.
Okay.
But what about like when a situation is like when someone can be arguing with someone else about something, and then the next thing you know, you could be sitting there and okay, I'm next.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Even if it never comes to you.
It's gonna come to you.
It's going to.
Started out with someone else.
That's so crazy because that was my exact situation where I saw that happened in front of me several times. It was never directed toward me, but I used to always wonder, like, why are you so angry? Or that person, whatever that person did, didn't warrant that response. You know, somebody cut you off, so you followed them in the car, cursing them out and stuff. It was just weird. So I ignored all those red flags. So I know exactly what you mean. That right there is actually psychological terror, because you're still afraid, even though it wasn't directed towards you. It still puts you on eggshells, right? Because of this person's level of aggression.
That's a good one, Easy, because I have witnessed and seen that. Yeah. That's a good
Not
one.
with me.
What do you do? You know what? I'm so glad you're on today.
Why
because
you?
I've been-
Come on, Roscoe.
I thought he had.
What do you
I
do?
gotta put my
Let me ask you,
disclaimers
what do
on
you
there.
think about a man?
Oh, here we go.
When you
now
come
it's about
in-
me. Now it's about me.
When you, it's not.
Maybe I ain't know
Don't
about
flatter
you.
yourself, honey. What do you do when you have it? Let's say you got a man, and you come in the house from work. You're exhausted. You're tired.
Oh,
And,
here we go. This
and
is
you be
about
like, "Hey,
me.
boo, how you doing? I'm so happy to see you. Love you." And you know you're cooking and you're cleaning, and you get sidetracked, and they do this. Hey, tend to that pot roast. What would you think of someone like that?
No one would actually.
Was
do
that verbatim?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
No one would actually do.
It's a lot of. They could be tired. They could be telling you not to burn the kitchen down. It could be a lot of different things. That's very vague, though. Honestly.
What if she said, "I'm going in the house and cook this pot roast"?
Look,
Y'all
And,
always.
and she want to do other things.
What
And
if-
she want to do other things.
what
If you want, if you want to
What
cook the
if-
pot roast,
well,
cook the pot roast.
What if
Don't
a man
come
uses
around
his
doing all this
dinner
other stuff.
services
Oh, here we
to
go.
hook up?
Here we go.
look. Maybe y'all need to have a private.
Okay.
That's what I hear.
Okay. We're gonna pay the fee and
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, my bad.
Yes, yes.
My bad.
Yes.
Y'all silly.
Tend to the pot roast.
Yeah. I did not snap my fingers, by the way.
Well, how'd you do it?
That's what I did. That's what I did. Y'all see that on Facebook Live? That's what I did. That's what I did. I did not
The
snap my
signs are
fingers.
clear. The signs are clear.
You know what?
But you came in the house and said, "Oh, I gotta cook a pot roast." Well, don't sit here on the couch next to me. Cook the pot roast. Tend to the pot
Look,
roast.
you start talking to his stomach, so now his stomach growling.
I'm cooking for other people. Now I need something to eat.
What?
Cook the
Yeah.
pot roast.
We'll
Oh
schedule.
yeah, y'all.
All right.
We'll
That later.
schedule.
I want to ask. I just want to.
I won't be there.
I just want to ask the question. Did you feel cook the pot roast was in line of eat the cake?
Mm.
Is that how you felt?
I did. I called him Ike too. I really did.
Ah.
I really did. I
Eat the
really-
cake.
No
Annie Mae.
comparison. No comparison.
I really did.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No comparison.
I'm not even
from the
sure.
professional and
I
from
don't
the
even think
unprofessional.
Miss Q would want to take y'all on as
Oh,
counsel.
she-
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm about to send him an intake.
She would quit. She would quit
Application.
based on the
As soon as I
intake. Yeah. She had to refer us to somebody.
Yeah, but no, seriously, like, I'm talking about way
Yeah.
beyond, you know, like, now, the eat the cake thing, if that's something that's, again, habitual,
Right.
or a certain tone, because people can do that, that's another thing. So, one thing I learned in, like, doing research on abuse and different types of abuse was that physical abuse is actually not even limited to actually touching or hitting or kicking. You don't have to actually touch anybody to physically abuse them.
Really?
No, you don't.
Right.
You know why? Because somebody can corner you, right? They don't have to touch you. They can corner you. They can stop you from leaving,
Yes.
right? They can even get in front of your car and stop you.
Yeah.
They can take your keys.
Yes.
That is still physical abuse.
Really?
It is.
Really?
Because physically, they're controlling you.
Okay.
Okay? And you may know by that point, now, of course, this probably accompanies other types of abuse, psychological, where you already have fear,
Yeah.
emotional, where you're already connected, have a bond, trauma bond to this person.
Yeah.
So you know that if you do something, something's going to happen. You're not going to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're just going to cower down and allow it to happen.
Yeah.
You made a face when I said the word trauma bond.
Cause I mean, again, it's kind of like.
Doesn't have to do with me.
No, it doesn't. You know, but I do tell people, you know, that is kind of how I got into the situation I was in. You know, and like I said, you hear the stories and it's kind of like the same story. I'm a very strong-willed woman, you know, so how could it be me in this situation? But I got to that point where I knew, you know, if they were pissed at someone, I was next. If I, you know, again, was 2 minutes late from my normal schedule of getting home because it only should take this long to get home, I knew I was next, you know. Or, you know, I tried to go somewhere and the keys would be taken, and same thing, you know, you get cornered in a, you know, I would be cornered and, you know, they would start barking and yelling, and like I said, they would snatch the keys or throw them. And after a while, you just say, instead of saying, I don't know why, but instead of saying, you know what, this is not okay, I'm going to leave, I would just be like, you know what, I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this tonight, so I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure that I'm not pressing his buttons.
Right. So now you're walking on eggshells.
Kids, you know he's had a long day, you know, he's really tired, you know, so just make sure you're not doing anything either to press the buttons to, you know, again, you really feel like it's you, that if you can just do enough to not, you know, piss them off, you know, they won't.
I think one of the strangest things about that is, like you said, you're a strong-willed woman, a very intelligent woman. So I can almost bet that before you were in this relationship, being single, you probably already knew that your actions do not dictate a person's reaction, right? But once you get into the relationship, you take on that whole mentality that what I'm doing is causing him to react this way.
Right.
You said you didn't know why. I'm going to tell you why. And that's because of the trauma bond. A lot of people, you know, people say, I don't want to get married. The divorce rate's so high, and, you know, relationships don't work, and blah, 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 blah. But it's not the institution of marriage that's the problem. It's the broken people. Marriage isn't broken.
Correct.
People are broken.
I believe
and then they get married.
I believe that.
Okay? So the problem is people mistake love for a trauma bond or a trauma bond for love, and instead of meeting heart to heart, they're meeting wound to wound. Everybody's just covering it up with all type of coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, and an image and an illusion, and all of that is just getting worse, and what happens is it manifests in other ways. So even though you knew that intellectually, emotionally, you were in another place where somebody could come in and tell you something different. And now you're doubting yourself in what you already know. Now that occurred by gaslighting and manipulation, but the trauma bond was already there. You can be a good person, a great person, and an empath, okay, and still have a trauma bond. That's you're actually the main target for these type of people because they know that you're smart. If you were already a weak person, what would they see in you? Why would they want to control you? That's not even a challenge, right? So that's the whole reason why I have people, you know, some of my clients, they're like trying to go back afterwards and they're like, why did I even propose to this person? Why did I even say yes to this person? And I mean, that's a great question because once you get into everything goes in the shambles, you're like, what in the
hell is that?
You know, I've asked myself the same question before, you know, but it's because of that trauma. So once you become bonded wound to wound, you no longer see yourself at all. And then that person wasn't able to see themselves from the beginning because, again, they have no mirror. So because they don't have a mirror to look at themselves, what they do is they mirror you. That's why you proposed to them. That's why you said yes to them, because they were acting like you, and you saw the same traits that you know you possess in that person at the time.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Seriously?
They mirror your behavior.
Oh, wow.
And make you feel like we have so much in common.
Oh, God, yes.
We have this strong bond. We're soulmates. That's why the love bombing stage is so intense.
Initially.
That's why it's so intense. In a normal relationship, it's not like that. You'll go from a toxic relationship where somebody was like really, really putting you on a pedestal and like so in love with you to a regular person, and you really don't know what to do because you're like, why is he not complimenting me every 5 seconds? Why is he not texting me all the time? Because that's what you were used to.
Guess who's home? You are. And you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you were used to. But all of that was fake. That's what they told that you wanted.
Gets you too, though, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's like I told you last time. Like, well, damn, I'm never allowed to drive anywhere, to an interview, anyway.
Wow.
And initially, though,
Shit,
I
I
was-
want you to drive.
yeah,
Right, right. That's her.
And I'm like,
I drove
well, you
for a
know,
living,
why don't you
drive.
want to chauffeur me around? You know,
Drive.
he doesn't care. And then I'm like, hold up.
Yep.
You remember you had somebody you thought, right?
That's a great point right there,
It's-
because
you're
that's something that a
absolutely
lot
right.
of women would love, right? For
You're
somebody to
absolutely
drive
right.
them around and
Yeah.
do things for them and be their bodyguard and all
you're
this
so
and that.
chivalrous and oh god,
All control. And
Yeah.
once you put that into perspective, but again, it's still difficult to make that transition to a healthy relationship,
It
which is
is.
also what we want to talk about before the interview.
the
Because people don't really know. People, even if they learn red flags, they're not going to know what the green flags are.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult. I found myself doing that. I had to tell myself like, well, luckily I'm with somebody who knows what I went through too.
Yeah.
So whenever I would project,
Get that
like,
man a mic. Get that man a mic. Nah, you can stop holding the phone and get that man a mic. He needs to speak up.
Hey, you know
Go
what?
ahead.
he can vouch for me.
And I'm glad you mentioned, the red flag and the green flag, because a lot of people don't realize that you have your good moments. There are the good things. Just like with stress, you got bad stress, you got good stress.
Mhm.
Right? I'm not gonna say there's good violence, right?
Right.
I mean, unless you prefer that, in a
Depends on who
different
you
way.
are.
Right,
Depends on who
right.
you are.
But I'm just saying, you got your good moments, where you're coming in and they're baking the cake, or something unexpected, just something happened.
A gift and you a gift.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have any more examples to give, so but yeah,
Yeah, I got quite a few.
yeah, and there'll be times when, like, let's say, 'cause like with me, I'm always hearing, hey, why can't you put the dishes in the dishwasher? All right, I'll do that later.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you didn't put this in the dishwasher. I'm like, why couldn't you put this in the dishwasher?
Oh, you just want beef. You want beef. That sounds like you want beef.
Right.
That's what that is.
I'm confrontational. I am.
Yeah. You
Oh,
want
my God.
beef. You
I'm
want
Me
confident.
too, a
beef.
little bit.
You could have just said
Don't be about
okay.
it.
Say okay.
A little bit.
This
Okay.
is a serious thing.
Okay
I'm
hurts
sorry.
everybody's feelings.
No. So,
Okay.
So next thing I know, like the dishwasher, right? I'm like, oh, of course he did that, right? And I'll go up and I like make the bed or something, pick up the clothes.
To try to do something to
Yeah,
make up for it.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
nice
so-
of you.
But
We
that's
used
not
to
what
have
she
a lot
asked
of
you to do.
friction in the beginning of our relationship because I used to project so much. All of those good things you said, like him driving for you and stuff, I would
Oh,
be like,
he didn't say
Get that man a mic. Get that man a mic.
It was
Get that man a mic.
difficult.
Get that man a mic. Get that man a mic.
There you go.
but I know you're going to nod and vouch.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult because like he would give me a compliment and I would like not know how to take it. And then he
Yeah.
would say, no idealizing. Like he would know exactly what was going through my mind.
Oh, gosh.
And why I
Oh,
couldn't take
wow.
the compliment. Because I got so many compliments and then got tore down twice as much.
Yeah.
So when I get a compliment, I think that that's coming after. You know what I mean? At some
Yeah.
point in time.
Yeah.
And he had to keep reassuring me and letting me know, like, no, that's not what this is.
Mm.
So that
I know
know
the
How do you
feeling.
get
I
to
know the
that
feeling.
point?
I know the feeling.
How do you get to the point where you stop projecting? Honestly, being in a healthy relationship with somebody who understands. I can't even give you another way how because that's how I got through it. You know what I mean? Like we not to that point no more. We way past that. Like all the projecting and your this quality is like this person and comparing all that's over with.
So how do you bring that up to someone? Like, because, even for men, Easy has talked about it, when you have been traumatized, like really traumatized by someone who's done you wrong, like, how do you bring that up? If you see that you're getting serious with someone, how do you bring that up? How much of it do you bring up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because,
I do.
I mean, for as much as I talk, when it comes to a lot of personal things, and I'll be honest, I don't, unless Jermaine
You
asks,
don't bring it up.
I don't talk about it.
But now let me ask this: since he said you don't bring it up, would you mind if she did? Would you listen and try to understand?
I'm a great listener.
That I
I
think.
will listen to you talk all day
With your headphones on?
with my headphones on.
I've known him for a while, so I know he can listen. But I had to ask that
I will
question
still
first.
listen. I will still hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's the point that I didn't ask you anything, but you giving me this information, I will take my headphones slightly off my ears and hear what you are saying if I'm not in the midst of cooking.
Okay.
And he always cooking.
Yeah,
I'm always
right,
cooking.
right.
And I'm
But
always
you know,
cooking.
how do men bring that up to another woman? How do women, you know what I mean? When do you?
Now I think that's
We
a little
don't.
more
You know?
difficult because see how he just said we don't.
We don't.
Short answer, we don't.
don't.
I honestly think that's true. Now I think Mike needs a mic
We don't.
because
We don't.
I'm not a man, so I can't answer that. I just know that
Okay.
there's a stigma, and women seem to be a little bit more accepted in speaking about things like that.
Well,
Yeah.
Feelings.
Like you said,
I think that's true.
like you said, you come home from work and so and so and so and so and so and so.
Yeah, I don't have no problem talking about, you know, co-working or anything,
Yeah,
but
but-
anything real.
But I have to,
Private?
I have to come home and tear out the trash and do this and do that and do this and another.
Yeah.
When do I have my time to say, hey, never mind, it's a game on tonight. I'm watching
Right,
the game.
right.
So it's
Well,
just a quick
yeah.
thought.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Never
Comes
mind.
out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It never comes out.
You
Wow.
know, to me, and I just think that men just don't communicate.
You don't communicate.
You know, I
I'm
just
very
think that we
good
don't.
communicator.
Speak for yourself.
When you say communicate, do you mean
I'm
communicate?
gonna be
with-
quiet. Everything I say, Bubba, go shoot me
Now,
down.
no.
just explain what you meant.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of times men are more passive
Mhm.
when it comes to talking about certain things.
Yes.
Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
No,
you're
I
not.
can.
You are.
You're
Let me
not.
try to give
You are.
an example that I
You're
think
not.
that you mean.
You're right.
I asked him probably last week. I said, "Do your friends?" Because some of his friends will like contact him and like about their relationship problems, right? We don't really have a whole lot of them, so he's just a listener. So I said, "Do your friends like ever ask you like how we are we good or whatever?" He's like,
Right.
"No." They wait until they have like a critical a crisis, right?
Yeah.
When somebody's busting their windows out
Yeah.
and doing all this crazy stuff, taking them to court, and then that's when the emotions finally come out.
Yeah.
So my question to you, 3 men in a room, 4 men in a room,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
at what point,
Right.
why does it have to get to that point to finally be vocal about how you feel about
What's been
something?
going on in your life?
Yeah.
I know for me, it's a lot easier. Like, I could talk to Bubba about anything,
Okay.
right?
Right.
I just can. Hey, man, this is what's happening.
Mono
Boom, boom,
y
boom.
mono.
And I can talk to him about just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But to talk to a woman about the same things that I talk to him about, I can't do it. It's just really difficult for me to do that. And when you have a woman that wants you to open up, it's just, what's going on? Are you all right? Boom, 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 boom.
I'm alright.
I'm okay.
I hate
alright.
that.
I'm
I
alright.
hate that.
Wait,
Alright.
I have a suspicion.
I hate that.
I have a suspicion that you haven't had a good track record with being transparent with women.
No, I haven't.
I think that's where that comes from. I'm gonna tell you why. Because most of my clients are male, and they actually say the exact opposite
Really?
of what you said. That they prefer to talk to a woman than a man because of toxic masculinity.
Okay.
You go to
Oh.
another
Like we talked about
man
last time.
usually and tell them, this is how I feel. My girl's doing this, my wife's doing this, and they, oh, you soft, oh, you supposed to be in control. That's the type of response they get. So they rather talk to a woman who they feel understands. But if you have a track record like that, where somebody's taking your words, using them against you, they just keeping it in their back pocket for later use to control you, then you're not going to want to open up to somebody. So I think in this instance, it's not really gender-based, it's just your personal experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you get someone like him or me to?
Or you.
So even though I
Or you.
can't speak for a man, I can speak from a place of trauma, because I feel like everybody in this room has had trauma, correct?
Sure.
True that.
Okay.
True that.
And so what got me to a point where I can even speak like this openly on this radio show, right?
Yeah.
Because most people don't do that. They still like the one that called in. I really appreciate that she could do that. She was to a point that she could do that. A lot of people can't. They just keep it all in and move on, and that's it.
Well, even for me, opening up.
On here.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you the truth, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but every time you come on the show, I always say, I ain't saying shit. But you always get me to a point where I do want to say something, because things are going on in here that I want to release. And you always get me to that point. Because I do have things that I think about. I've been in tough relationships, whatever, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the other person's always been the cause. I mean, I played my part in a lot of that stuff too.
Right.
I mean, I'm not perfect, you know, but it's just hard to, you know, my mentality is like when a woman comes home, or when a lady, a friend or whatever, they want to sit there, you know, we need to talk. My mentality is, oh shit.
It's so bad.
shit.
Something about to happen.
Yeah.
Lord.
But let me ask you something, Easy. All right? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I see from my personal experience with you, two different people. Right now, I'm seeing two different people. So, what you're talking about, is that someone that maybe you might be wanting to be in a relationship with, or that's just any woman? Just one of the answers.
It would probably be more of
I'm setting you
someone
up.
that
I'm setting you up.
I know you are.
Yeah.
But I think it would probably be more somebody that I would want to be with.
Okay, that's what I thought. You know, and I thought maybe you weren't going to go there, but I'm glad you did, because you can talk freely with T, which is my wife. By the way, right?
Shout out to T.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I always
You know,
talk to T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no issue with that.
Right.
I mean, you just,
I think that's
you
what,
just speak.
yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe it might be the person you're trying to, you know, be with.
Like
Or
you said,
be
it's
a
the
friend
trauma of
So he's-
in the relationship.
He's
He's essentially saying you don't have a problem expressing yourself. It's just something that happens when you get around people that you want to date. Like that's
Right.
the root.
That's what
There
I
you
think.
go.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Man.
And you said something that was very important that actually goes back to my point in saying, like, I can speak from a place of just people having trauma, period. So you said when I come on the show, it makes you start thinking. You got all these thoughts.
Right.
So, and you want to get them out. So I'm going to stop you right there. What happens when you don't? Not just you. It's a general you. Men, women, everybody. They read things on social media. They see videos that re-traumatize them.
Yep.
And they have all these thoughts and they never get it out. So what's going to happen is it's going to manifest in other ways. Me having that knowledge is what allows me to be able to speak and not just speak, but because not everybody wants to hear it, right? Everybody, some people want to use your weaknesses against you.
Right.
So you can't just talk to anybody. I get that. When you know that and you love yourself to a point, when I say love yourself, a lot of times when people are used to taking care of other people and they have that's their trauma bond, that's their trauma, they taking care of everybody, not focusing on themselves, they have a really difficult time with this and they think that they're being selfish.
Yes.
So I have to teach people how to love themselves without feeling guilty. That's a big part of my job, right?
How do you teach somebody to love themselves as is that a second party or a third party? What is that?
I guess you could say it's second.
That's the second party?
Yeah, because I mean it usually comes after they've gone through something like really, really bad.
Right.
And they're like, where do I start? I feel stuck. What do I do? So the answer is to love yourself, and they don't even really know how to do that because again, that's why they got to the point that they were because
Right.
they didn't. We all think we love ourselves, right?
Right.
Unless a person is willing to admit, I don't like myself right now. I hate myself. Whatever they'll say stuff like that. But in general, we all think we love ourselves. I'm not talking about how we feel about ourselves like on a daily or how we present ourselves to other people.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about loving yourself to a point where you have the discernment to understand that not everybody deserves your energy. Even people that you may have known forever.
Your family.
Even some of your family members.
Yeah,
Yep.
your
Even
family.
some of your so-called friends or exes that you still have access to will still have access to you. And when you really start going down the line and thinking about this, you're going to cross a whole lot of people off that list.
Yeah.
Why? Why do they have access to me? Why do I give them my energy? That's the type of loving yourself I'm talking about.
Yep. Inner peace.
Yes. And
Create the
then
inner peace.
and then after you do that, and then it's just you sitting there, right? You start feeling lonely and you're like, okay, now I got work to do. I got work to do. Because what we do is we distract ourselves with all these other people and things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And when everything is gone, that's when you can see where all the holes are. What gaps do I need to fill in?
Left with yourself.
That's where you have to start, yes.
Man. So, aside from that, what are some other, and again, it's hard to say it because you can't really generalize, it's a case-by-case thing, but what are some other tips that you may have for someone really investing in themselves?
Ooh, it's a lot.
So that they can be good for someone else.
Okay, now, my first tip is be good for yourself first.
How is that?
Because
How
you
do do that?
can't, like another person shouldn't even come into your mind until you feel whole, okay? So a lot of people feel like they need somebody else to be whole. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Another person should compliment you, and they can't do that if you don't know who you are in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we take on so much that they give us, because we don't know who we are. So you have to identify yourself first. What do I like to do? What do I love? What's my purpose? Why am I here? What do I have to offer somebody else? Why would I accept less than that? Right?
Yeah.
And again, love yourself to a point where you won't accept certain things. So the biggest part of this is creating boundaries. Where you didn't say no before, you'll say no now, and you have to stick to your no. Not no, and then they know how to ease their way into asking you again in another way. And okay, well, maybe I'll do it. No, it's no.
What is that called?
Codependency.
Oh no.
I mean, like now in this generation that everybody has terms
Mm-hmm.
for everything they do, so they need to be hip on what this term is and what it's called.
Right.
So I mean, if you have, it's called codependency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I wanna actually clarify that, because psychology is one of those fields that's like, you know, it's pretty new. And when I say new, I mean like within like the last century, we've learned so much, right? And the DSM manual where you diagnose with the diagnosis, it just keeps getting better and better. It keeps being upgraded constantly. So the general term or the old term for codependency really related to a person that was like on like a substance abuser, like an alcoholic or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And now the alcoholic of the family, who, let's just say the alcoholic is the father, the mother enables the father by doing things that she knows will, I guess, make it the best that it can be, but it's still bad.
Right.
It's still toxic.
Right.
You know, and so that's a codependent. She feels like he needs her,
Yep.
right, to survive.
She can't go anywhere.
And she feels like if she would leave, that he's gonna kill himself by drinking too much.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the old term. That's what people identify codependency with.
Oh, okay.
The psychological term for codependency is really somebody who feels that they need others to be validated, period. It has nothing to do with substance abuse. It could be that. But it could also be, I'll give you an example. I believe that the root of my codependency came from me being the youngest of 7 and not really having a voice in my house. And so every time my siblings would ask me to do something, I felt that they needed me. Can you wash the dishes for me? Can you, even to not tell on them.
Yep.
Things like that. I felt like if I was to do that, they would get kicked out. So I'm not going to do that. I will hold all their secrets. That's how I became a codependent later in life, because I didn't want people to deal with the bad part of life and have hardships just because I couldn't help them.
Y'all paying attention out there?
So, can we just take a break just for a
yeah.
moment?
We sure can.
We're gonna come back and talk about codependency.
Drink your water.
You know, I'm sure we all have some story we can tell. You know, and so we'll just come back. I got a nice little tune from a local artist named Kenny Sway with his one of his songs called
Kenny Sway.
Kenny Sway.
All right.
With the song Morning.